Have you ever felt weighed down by a hurt you just can't shake? Maybe it's a betrayal, a harsh word, or an injustice that replays in your mind. Unforgiveness promises to protect us, but it only traps us in pain, stealing our peace and joy. God wants us to live free, but we hold the key. Forgiveness isn't just for others, it's the ultimate act of self-care for our souls. Are you ready to lay down your burden and step into the freedom Jesus offers? Let's begin. Forgiveness isn't just a suggestion, it's a command from God, rooted in His love for us. The gospel is built on God's forgiveness through Jesus, given freely, not because we deserved it. Colossians 3:13 says, "Forgive as the Lord forgave you." It's not about feelings or waiting for an apology. Holding on to unforgiveness blocks our relationship with God and steals our joy. Forgiveness is an act of worship and trust, releasing others into God's hands and choosing freedom for ourselves. When we forgive, we reflect God's love and show the world the power of the gospel. Unforgiveness is a poison that seeps into every part of our lives, growing from a small hurt into a tree of bitterness. It steals our joy, drains our energy, and clouds our ability to hear God's voice. The Bible warns us to get rid of all bitterness because it grieves the Holy Spirit. Refusing to forgive keeps us chained to the person who hurt us, giving them control over our emotions. True freedom comes when we cut those chains, not when the other person changes. Don't let your past dictate your future. Choose to let go and reclaim your joy. Forgiveness is the key, a powerful tool that unlocks so much within us. It's not always easy, but it's always necessary for true freedom. Think of it as a golden key, ready to unlock doors that have been closed for far too long. It's the key to releasing yourself from the chains of the past. That unlocks the prison of resentment, the bitterness and anger that holds us captive. Resentment is a heavy burden to carry, a self-made prison that keeps us locked away from joy and peace. Forgiveness is the jailbreak, the moment when the bars shatter and the chains fall away. It's the path to liberation, letting you step into God's peace and freedom. It's an invitation to walk out of the darkness and into the light, to release the burdens that weigh you down and embrace the boundless possibilities that await. Imagine the feeling of a dove soaring into the sky, carrying your worries away with it. That's the power of forgiveness. When you forgive, you take back control of your happiness. You reclaim your power and refuse to let the actions of others dictate your emotional state. It's like taking the steering wheel of your life back into your own hands, charting your own course towards joy and fulfillment. And stop letting the past define you. The past is a teacher, not a jailer. Forgiveness allows you to learn from your experiences without being trapped by them. It's like turning the page to a new chapter, leaving the shadows behind and stepping into the sunlight of a brighter future. Releasing the hurt is empowering. It's an act of self-love and a declaration of your worth. Holding on to pain only hurts you. Letting it go sets you free. Imagine releasing balloons into the sky, each one carrying a burden you no longer need to bear. It breaks unhealthy ties and starts true healing. Forgiveness severs the connections that bind you to negativity and allows you to begin the process of mending your heart and soul. It's like cutting through the ropes that hold you back, allowing your wounds to finally heal. God's peace floods in, washing away the pain and filling the void with His love and grace. It's like a gentle stream flowing through a parched land, bringing life and renewal. When we obey His call to forgive, when we choose to follow His path of compassion and understanding, it's an act of obedience that unlocks a deeper connection with Him, bringing a calm that surpasses understanding, a peace that transcends the chaos and turmoil of the world, a stillness that settles deep within your soul. It's a gift that only God can give, a serenity that defies explanation. Forgiveness restores your joy, rekindling the spark of happiness that may have been dimmed by hurt and disappointment. It allows you to experience the simple pleasures of life with renewed enthusiasm, and opens your heart to love and trust again. It breaks down the walls that you've built around your heart, and allows you to connect with others on a deeper level. It's like a flower blooming, revealing its beauty and fragrance to the world. You begin to see others through God's grace, not your pain. You develop a greater capacity for empathy and understanding, recognizing that everyone is struggling in their own way. It allows you to extend compassion and forgiveness to others, just as God has extended it to you. Let go of the past, release the hurts, the disappointments, and the regrets that weigh you down. Don't let them define who you are or dictate your future, and embrace the future God has for you. a future filled with hope, joy, and endless possibilities. Step into the light and allow him to guide you on your journey. Joseph's story in Genesis is a powerful example of forgiveness in action. Betrayed by his own brothers and sold into slavery, Joseph endured years of pain and injustice. He could have chosen bitterness, but he kept his heart right with God. When he had the power to take revenge, Joseph chose grace, saying, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." He didn't minimize the wrong, but he saw God's purpose in his pain. Joseph's forgiveness saved his family and fulfilled God's greater plan. His story shows us that forgiveness is possible, even in the deepest wounds. Forgiveness is a journey, not a one-time event. It's a process, a winding path that we navigate, often with difficulty and uncertainty. It requires patience, understanding, and a willingness to keep moving forward, even when the road ahead seems unclear or daunting. Think of it less as a destination and more as a continuous unfolding, a series of choices and actions that gradually lead us toward healing and peace. Here are 4 steps to help you start, or perhaps to continue, on this vital journey of forgiveness. These aren't magical solutions, but rather practical guidelines to help you move in the right direction. They are simple, yet profound, and when applied with sincerity and a willingness to grow, they can unlock the door to a more liberated and peaceful existence. First, be honest about your hurt. Don't minimize it, don't dismiss it, and don't pretend it doesn't exist. Acknowledge the depth of your pain, the ways in which you've been wounded, and the impact it has had on your life. This is not about wallowing in negativity, but rather about facing reality with courage and vulnerability. Admit your pain to God. He already knows it, of course, but expressing it aloud, laying it bare before him, is a powerful act of surrender and trust. Don't hold back your tears, your anger, or your confusion. Pour out your heart to him, knowing that he is a compassionate listener who understands your suffering and offers solace and comfort. Healing begins with honesty. It's the foundation upon which true forgiveness can be built. When we are truthful about our wounds, we open ourselves up to receive God's healing touch, allowing him to mend the broken places within us and restore us to wholeness. This honesty is not just a one-time event, but an ongoing practice of self-awareness and vulnerability before God. Second, ask God for strength. Forgiveness is not something we can achieve on our own. It requires a supernatural power, a divine intervention that transcends our human limitations. We need God's strength to overcome our natural inclination to hold on to resentment and bitterness. Forgiveness often feels impossible, especially when the hurt is deep and the offense is great. The pain can seem insurmountable, the anger overwhelming, and the desire for revenge all-consuming. It's in these moments that we must recognize our own inadequacy and turn to God for help. But God gives us the grace to do what we can't do alone. He empowers us to forgive, even when it seems beyond our capacity. He provides the strength to release the bitterness, to let go of the anger, and to extend compassion to those who have wronged us. This grace is freely available to all who ask for it, a constant source of support and encouragement on the journey of forgiveness. Third, make the decision to let go. This is a conscious choice, a deliberate act of will. It's about choosing to release the grip that resentment has on your heart and mind. It's about deciding to no longer be defined by the pain of the past. Forgiveness is a choice, not a feeling. You may not feel like forgiving, but you can choose to forgive anyway. Your emotions may lag behind your decision, but that's okay. The important thing is to make the commitment to let go, regardless of how you feel at the moment. Release the person and the debt you feel they owe you. This doesn't mean condoning their actions or excusing their behavior. It simply means releasing them from the burden of your expectations and demands. It's about freeing yourself from the cycle of resentment and bitterness that keeps you bound to the past. You may have to choose forgiveness again and again as memories resurface. Forgiveness is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. Memories of the hurt may resurface, triggering old emotions and temptations to hold on to resentment. In these moments, it's important to reaffirm your commitment to forgiveness, choosing to release the pain once again. Fourth, bless instead of curse. This may seem counterintuitive, especially when you've been deeply hurt. But blessing those who have wronged you is a powerful way to break the cycle of negativity and release yourself from the grip of bitterness. Pray for the person who hurt you, asking God to intervene in their life to heal their wounds and to guide them on the right path. This is not about excusing their behavior, but rather about extending compassion and grace even to those who seem undeserving, asking God to heal and bless them. Pray for their well-being, their happiness, and their spiritual growth. Ask God to help them overcome their own struggles and to become the best version of themselves. This act of blessing can transform your own heart, softening your anger and opening you up to compassion. When you can genuinely pray for their good, when you can sincerely desire their well-being, you'll know that a significant shift has occurred within you. The bitterness will begin to dissipate, the resentment will start to fade, and a sense of peace will begin to emerge. You'll know true healing has begun. This is not just about forgiving the other person, but about healing yourself. It's about releasing the pain and bitterness that have been holding you captive and embracing a future filled with hope and freedom. These steps aren't easy. They require courage, perseverance, and a willingness to confront your own pain. There will be moments of doubt, moments of frustration, and moments when you feel like giving up, but they lead to freedom. Freedom from the bondage of resentment, freedom from the prison of bitterness, and freedom to live a life filled with joy, peace, and purpose. The journey of forgiveness is a pathway to liberation, a way to break free from the chains that bind us to the past. Take them one at a time, trusting God to walk with you. Don't try to rush the process. Don't expect instant results, and don't be discouraged by setbacks. Simply focus on taking the next step, knowing that God is with you every step of the way, offering guidance, support, and encouragement. Forgiveness is possible. Start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you feel ready, and don't let the fear of the unknown hold you back. Take the first step, however small, and begin your journey toward healing and freedom. The power of forgiveness is within your reach. Embrace it and begin to walk in it today. Forgiveness and reconciliation are not the same. Forgiveness is a personal decision between you and God to release bitterness, regardless of the other person's response. You can forgive someone who never apologizes, never changes, or is no longer in your life. Reconciliation, however, requires both parties and genuine repentance. Sometimes reconciliation isn't safe or wise, but forgiveness is always necessary for your freedom. Forgiveness sets your heart free. Reconciliation rebuilds trust only when it's safe. Know the difference and protect your heart as you walk in freedom. Forgiving someone doesn't mean giving them unlimited access to your life. True forgiveness often empowers you to set healthy boundaries to protect your heart and well-being. Boundaries aren't walls of punishment. They're fences of protection. Sometimes distance is necessary, especially in cases of abuse or repeated harm. Jesus himself set boundaries, withdrawing to rest and pray. Ask God for wisdom to know what boundaries are needed in your situation. Forgive freely, but protect your peace and walk in wisdom. We've explored the profound power and absolute necessity of forgiveness. We've delved into its transformative effects, understanding how it can reshape our lives and relationships. We've seen how holding on to resentment can be like carrying a heavy burden, weighing us down and preventing us from moving forward. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is the key that unlocks the chains of bitterness and sets us free. But now, the focus shifts. It's no longer about abstract concepts or theoretical discussions. It's your turn. This is where the rubber meets the road, where you take the principles we've discussed and apply them to your own life. It's time to look inward, to examine your heart, and to identify those areas where forgiveness is needed. I once knew a woman who carried the weight of resentment for decades, a burden that seemed to grow heavier with each passing year. It colored her perspective, poisoned her relationships, and robbed her of joy. She was trapped in a cycle of anger and bitterness, unable to break free from the pain of the past. But then, something remarkable happened. When she finally made the courageous decision to forgive, to release the anger and bitterness that had consumed her for so long, her life was transformed in ways she never thought possible. The weight lifted, the darkness dissipated, and a new sense of peace and freedom filled her heart. And the most amazing part? This transformation occurred even though her father, the person she had resented for so many years, never changed. He never apologized, never acknowledged his wrongdoing, and never sought reconciliation. Her forgiveness was not contingent upon his actions. It was a choice she made for herself, a gift she gave to herself. That same freedom, that same transformative power is available to you right now, in this very moment. You don't have to remain trapped in the prison of resentment. You don't have to let the pain of the past continue to define your present and dictate your future. This isn't just information, dry facts and figures to be memorized and forgotten. It's not just a theoretical concept to be debated and analyzed. It's an invitation, a heartfelt plea, to step into the boundless freedom that Christ so freely offers. It's a chance to break free from the chains of bitterness, to experience the joy of reconciliation, and to live a life filled with peace and purpose. So I ask you, who do you need to forgive? Whose name comes to mind when you think about the pain and hurt in your life? If a name or face immediately comes to mind, if a particular memory surfaces with a pang of pain, don't ignore it. Don't push it aside or try to suppress it. Instead, take a moment, find a quiet space, and be honest with God about the pain you're feeling, the anger you're harboring, and the resentment that's consuming you. And then, with God's help, begin to walk through the deliberate steps of forgiveness, one step at a time. Release the debt, the perceived obligation that you believe is owed to you. Let go of the expectation that the other person will make amends or acknowledge their wrongdoing. Ask God for the strength you need to forgive, the grace to extend compassion, and the wisdom to see the other person through His eyes. And then, pray for their blessing, for their well-being, and for their growth. Pray that they will find healing and wholeness, just as you are seeking for yourself. Your healing, your freedom, your transformation begins with this courageous act of forgiveness. It's a step of faith, a leap of trust, and a declaration of your commitment to a better future. Don't wait another day, another hour, another minute. Choose freedom today. Break free from the chains of resentment and embrace the joy of forgiveness. You deserve to be free from the burden of unforgiveness. You deserve to experience the peace and joy that comes from releasing the past and embracing the future.